Hey guys! Today on Recognize and Manage Your Level of Crazy with EQ, we're talking about programming. Programming. Do I mean like a show on Netflix or Amazon Prime? No, I'm not. I'm actually talking about the programming that we all create for ourselves when we deal with life. So let me explain. Every time we have a trauma or we have some sort of issue in life, we create a strategy that we can now use to move through that situation. So for example, when I was young, my mom would give me candy and hugs and kisses every time I would come home with a good grade, or I would, hurt myself, and I would come to her and show her my boo-boo, and she would give me a hug and kiss and give me some yummy candies. And so this became a program, this became a strategy that I would use to get attention, get candy. You get the gist. And so every time we create one of these strategies, we use them until they are no longer useful. Meaning that strategy worked up until the point where I was an adult, right? Like at some point, even in my teenage years, at some point that strategy no longer worked for a variety of reasons, okay? So coming to my mom with a boo-boo and expecting a hug and kiss and yummy candies, doesn't really work anymore. Now, for fun, shits and giggles, excuse my French, sure, it could still work on some level. And I think both my mom and I would find it amusing if I did that. But for the most part, I think you understand what I'm saying. Now, that was a happy example. Let's take a traumatic event. Like, for example, something happened to us as a child, or at some point, even in adulthood, something happens, something traumatic happens to us. And we now create a strategy on how to deal with that so that we can cope, so that we can avoid that kind of pain moving forward. Now, as humans, we are always creating strategies to stay out of pain. We want pleasure. We want to always move into pleasure and avoid the pain. Now, there are so many ways I can take this, and there are spiritual reasons for this as well, and we can talk about that at a different time. But just know that we here are spiritual beings on a human journey, which means that it is important that we understand that we are here to overcome traumatic events. We are here to overcome our reactive crazy and move it into proactive crazy. That is our job here. We are supposed to move into the light. We are supposed to reveal the light in every situation that is presented to us, especially the bad situations. Obviously, if something good happened, there's not much light to be revealed there. It's already being revealed. So we're talking about the negative events, the frustrating events, okay? So those strategies that we create, continue to continue to work for us for as long as they work for us. But at some point, they stop working. And so this is where we need to choose a new strategy. And so let me just show you really quickly here that this right here is the AS protocol. This is a framework that I have created, and it is in my book. It is the AS protocol. I'm sure that you cannot read the whole thing, but just to show you that this is a framework that I have created, and this is something that will become or has become a very important tool in how to be a transformer, moving that reactive crazy to proactive crazy. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm also going to incorporate a special tool called the Canvas. And this Canvas tool was inspired by the process of NLP. Excuse me, I have something in my throat there. Was inspired by the tools of Neuro Linguistics Programming. And we know that in life, we know that when we look at something, when we're looking at a situation, our brain remembers things in pictures, okay? So our conscious mind or subconscious mind, all of it is working in a way that we see things, excuse me, in pictures. And so what we're doing is every time something happens, we end up remembering that event visually, and that now starts to repeat itself over and over and over again until we can reprogram, which means we create or choose, we choose a new strategy. So it's very simple in terms of, really, that's all that it is? Yeah, it's about choosing a new strategy and reprogramming our mind so that we can pick a strategy now that will work moving forward, because the old strategy no longer works. So now, the other very important piece of this is to remember that to move from strategy A to strategy B, you have to know that in order to make this change, strategy B has to have a bigger why. The desire for strategy B has to be so much bigger than strategy A. So meaning, if you want to quit smoking or if you want to stop a bad behavior, the why over here has to be much, much bigger, because strategy A is going to constantly want to drive you to itself. It's going to not want you to change. It's going to want you to stay there. So make sure that strategy B is something you really, really, really are just like, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's when you can move to strategy B. Okay, so it has to be a really big why. So now let's go through this process of reprogramming and creating a new visual, because like I said, everything we see everything in pictures, and we want to create a new picture. We want to create a new vision for what we want. And that is why a lot of times you will hear tools such as visualization, law of attraction, visualize what you want, focus on what you want, repeat it to yourself. But there's also the missing component, because you also have to take the action. It's not enough to just wish it into being. You have to do action. You have to become the thing that you want to become. All right, and we can talk more about that later. So let's now do this tool, what I call, again, it's called Canvas. And what it is basically, I want you to imagine two canvases. And I'm going to do this from my example from the other day when I had a lot of anxiety. And this is what I did. And this will follow the ASK protocol framework. So what that means is that awareness, self-awareness, strategy, serenity. Okay, so here I go. So I'm going to walk you through it just like I did it, and that will help you visually understand what I'm talking about. So the other day I had a lot of anxiety, and I was able to choose a new strategy, reprogramming myself so that I no longer have that continuous anxiety, that even if it pops back in, I now have a new program, which makes it easier to make that shift. Because when you have still the old program, it's easier for your for the negativity to slip in there, right? To stay in the reactive. But when you can reprogram yourself, you will have the assistance of the proactive crazy of that new program to help you shift. So let's go. So the other day I had a lot of anxiety. And so the first step was self-awareness. I became self-aware of the anxiety. I heard the anxiety. And how did I do that? Is I'm very self-aware. Now, becoming self-aware is also a process in itself, and that comes through meditation, practicing mindfulness, like getting silent, spending time in solitude, and really cutting out the noise so that you can feel your body, so you can hear the intuitive thoughts, so you can really become more present to yourself. So I became very self-aware of this anxiety. Then I said, okay, strategy. What is the current strategy? Current strategy is, oh my God, I have all this anxiety. Why am I getting anxiety? Okay, I'm getting anxiety because I'm nervous about this particular situation in my life, and it's really stressing me out, and I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm worried about it. Okay, how is that strategy working for me? It's not, because it's delaying my process, it's draining my energy, I'm not able to focus, I'm not able to create, and I'm not able to do the things I want to do to create the results I want. Okay, what is the new strategy? What is the new program that I want? Well, I want to feel light. I want to feel inspired. I want to feel like I got this. I want to feel like anything is possible. I want to feel like I'm in control. I'm happy. I'm good. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out. All I need to do is just take action and everything will work out. It may not be perfect, but it will be okay. So, okay, how do I do that? All right. So I took my 2 canvases, and my first canvas is like a picture, right? It's my canvas, full of all of that stuff, the stress, the frustration, the fear, the anger, the stuckness, the boredom, the unfulfilled feelings, the lack of purpose, the lack of movement, all the feelings, all the stuff. And I visually give it a picture. And so this canvas is now dark and gross and just heavy, and it's just like demons coming out of it. And it's just like the most grossest picture I could create. Okay. And when you got that, you put that over here for a second. And then over here, I have all the best possible scenarios. I have light coming out of it. I have sunshine. I have peace. I have love. I have certainty. I have abundance. I have gratitude. I have this lightness, this opportunities and amazingness just pouring out of this side. Like, it's so much light and amazingness that it's like overwhelming, but in a good way. Okay. And so now I have the 2, and I ask myself, which program do I want to install? Which program do I want to install moving forward? Because I can still pick one or the other as a strategy once in a while, but I want to reprogram. I want this to stay forever. So I am going to choose this one. Why? For all the obvious reasons. And I am now going to take this one and I'm going to move it away. Okay, so this one comes closer and this other one gets moved away. And as I move it away, it disintegrates, it blows up, it explodes completely with all of that negativity gone, completely just shattered. And this one, I now look at it, I embrace it, I completely now immerse myself in this light, completely immerse myself all over myself, all over my mind, my body, my spirit, everything from head to toe, all over me. And I just keep doing that for a few minutes until I completely feel that light, that love, that lightness, that inspiration, that everything. This is my new being. I am becoming this energy completely. And just breathe it in. Just breathe it all in. Breathe it all in. And just do that for a few moments until you just feel like, I just completely am a new being. Take a deep breath in. And release anything left over that is not of that energy. And once again, breathe in and release. And one last time. And just sit with that for a moment. And then the last part of the Ask protocol is serenity. Blessing this process. Complete gratitude for this process, for this opportunity, for the crazy, for the reactive crazy, and now for the proactive crazy. And just immerse yourself. Know that you are now been reprogrammed. This is your new program. Visualize it, know it, be it, and completely embrace it. Now, if the feelings come back, because you will be tested, life continues to test us. Because as I said earlier, our spiritual path, our job is to be the light. Our job is to be the light and to reveal the light. So if this other side wants to keep coming back, it's okay. You now have a new program and you can continue to choose the new strategy. The new strategy and the new program will now be integrated. So even if you're tested, it might come back, it may want to come back, and sometimes you might slip, and that's okay. But you are now reprogrammed, and just know that. Trust it. And do that process over and over again, as many times as you need to, until that new program is there, and you can now do it easier and easier and easier and easier. Okay? So I hope that helps. I'm super excited for you. I know that you're going to see amazing results with this. And it does take time, but just trust it. Trust it that you have been reprogrammed. I am reprogrammed. I have a new program and I can choose my new program anytime. And anytime something happens, I can pick a new strategy. I'm reprogrammed. And you just keep saying that to yourself over and over and over again. So I'm excited to hear what happens for you. And don't be hard on yourself. Let's see if it works. We can only try. We can only make an effort. And the rest is, up to spirit and the process of just moving along our path. But we have to try and we have to make an effort. All right? So with that, as always, when you know and understand yourself, the world will know and understand you too. And remember, what's the best that can happen? Okay, guys, take care and we'll see you soon.